Hey friends, this is Wendy with Love and Stampin'. I am so excited today to share with you a fun collaboration video with Pink and Maine and Pear Blossom Press. Before I get too far into this video, I need to tell you right up front, there is an Instagram hop happening with two $25 gift certificate giveaways. So please, please, please jump on that train. Like, go over to Instagram. There's a link in the description below my video. You have to comment on everybody's project and like and follow each person, and you'll be entered to win a $25 gift card, one from Pear Blossom Press that does all these fun lights, and one from Pink and Maine. And I'm going to talk more about Pink and Maine in a minute. So what I'm using today is the Mugs and Kisses stamp set from Pink and Maine, and you might notice that, well, let me tell you about this stuff too. I'm going to pull out some red vellum here, and I ended up not using it, but I was going to use it, and I changed my mind. I wanted to just tell you about Pear Blossom Press has this vellum pack. It's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. It's already pre-cut with all these different colors, and I think there's 48 sheets of vellum in there. It is amazing. I've had this for almost a year, and I've not had to use any other vellum. So just FYI on that. If you're not into the light up cards, that's okay, even though I think you should totally try it. I have heard from a lot of people that light up cards are intimidating. They really are easy. I promise. If you just order one and try it, you'll be shocked. So this one is, I'm using a 1 light. So in my opinion, that's the best place to start. Just get a 1 light. They are so easy to manage and use. So they come in a pack of 5. I think they are on back order right now and won't be back in stock until, I want to say January. However, I'm going to link to a few different options below so that you can grab some maybe at a different location, because they're out of stock at Pear Blossom Press, but Pear Blossom Press sells to Simon Says Stamp, and I think there's a couple other companies. I think Trinity is going to be carrying their products. So I'll link to a couple of other places so that you can try to grab them there if they're not available on the Pear Blossom website. So let's talk about the card, and then we're going to talk about this company because it has some kind of cool stuff to share. So first, I am stamping all of the mugs on, I'm going to stamp them all on masking paper, and we're going to do a masking technique that goes horribly wrong. So stick with me, because you will see as we travel through this video how I fix the boo-boo, because I don't start over. So, and I learned that from my buddy Kelly. I'll tell you, that girl, she just teaches you all the things. So here, what I did is I masked off my first mug with the idea to stamp this mug on top, mask it off, stamp the next, stamp the next. So the concept was that it was going to look like stacked mugs, which in the end it does, right? But we kind of had to go through a few trials and tribulations to get there. So whenever you're masking, whatever image you want to appear in the forefront, so the thing that you want to look like it's up front, that has to be stamped first and masked. Then you stamp the next thing. Then you mask that. Then you stamp the next thing. And as you go, you're creating dimension, because each thing will look as though it's behind the other thing. Does that make sense? I know I'm saying thing a lot. So basically I did that for all 4 mugs. I stamped all of them on that Altenew masking paper, trimmed it out, and then masked and stamped the next. So here I decided, rather than like keep repeating this over and over, I was just going to stamp both of these on masking paper and cut it all out at once along with the Santa Claus. And then that way I could just get all those fussy cut out and come back to you. I'm not a big fan of watching people fussy cut in videos, if I'm being honest. I mean, if it's a live video and it has to be done, I get it. But if it's like a pre-recorded video like this one, I don't need to watch somebody trim out a shape. It's just not something that appeals to me. So I just kind of cut it out of my videos. I hope you don't mind that. And yeah. So anyway, I'm cleaning my stamps before I'm taking them off, and then I'm going to cut those out, and then we'll finish up the stamping and masking on this card. So let me tell you about Pink and Maine. I did a little bit of research before I did this video. This is something I'm going to start trying to do when I do collaborations, because like I only have one product from Pink and Maine until I got this one. I didn't really know them very well. There's so many amazing stamp companies out there, and it's just, you know, you can't buy from everybody. You can't keep up with everything. And I'm fairly new to this industry outside of the SU world. So I went to Pink and Maine's website and I looked up their About Me section. Turns out the owner is named Michelle, and Michelle has muscular dystrophy and has since she was 12. And a portion of proceeds from Pink and Maine gets donated to muscular dystrophy like fundraisers or organizations every year. So I had no idea. That immediately made me want to buy more of their stuff, because I love that. I love a company with a cause. So I did not know that about Pink and Maine until I went to her About page and read that. And she loves crafting, and so she's created this awesome company. I love that their dyes are pink, they're high quality, they're cut apart, like really, really good quality. I love her images. So anytime, Pink and Maine, if you're watching this, anytime you want me to do a video for you, you let me know. So, yeah, really fun. Okay, here, I ink blended with salvaged patina, distress ink. And then I'm just splattering some opaque Copic paint on there in my little box. And then this is the best part. This is like Christmas. When you peel off all the masking paper, it's just so good. So I wasn't able to keep my masking paper because, so this is where I'm figuring out I've screwed up. Do you see what is happening here? You see me pause. You see me like tapping the paper piercer. Can you see where the screw up is? Okay. So the screw up is that these mugs are drawn so that it's like you're seeing the inside of the cup. So the way I should have masked this is I should have actually wiped off some of the stamp before stamping. So the back end of the mug, I should have wiped it off before I stamped. But I didn't do that because I didn't think. But we're going to fix it. Luckily, in the stamp set, there is whipped cream topping, there's marshmallow topping, there's peppermint sticks, and candy canes. So what I did, I'm really taking a long time thinking about this. I thought I edited this part out of the video. But I was really stumped. I was like, what am I going... Look at, now I'm tapping my fingers. What am I going to do? How am I going to fix this? So this is one of my tricks that I've learned from my friend Kelly, is that you just don't start over. You figure out a way to fix it. And that I did. I figured out how to fix it. Is it perfect? No, but it's a card, right? Like, this isn't rocket science. It's not, I'm not trying to repair somebody's body. It's a card. So stamp ink and paper, people. So by adding marshmallows on top and whipped cream, it kind of hides the back of because the issue with this card, the issue with this stamping is the back of the mug needs to be behind the mug on top so that it looks as though it's nestled in. But it's too late for that, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to add those little marshmallow bits and whipped cream bits, and it will look great, and you'll have no clue. You would only know if you watched the video. And anybody I give this card to is just going to think that it's a really cute colored stacked mug stamp set. All right, card. So here I did try to write out all the Copic markers that I use for you guys, because I know that that is something I'm really bad about. And I don't always do that. Sometimes I don't really even know what Copic markers I'm going to be using until I use them. And so that's just the honest truth. Like, sometimes I'm not sure. And so sometimes they get missed. I have attempted to start linking to some Copic markers, but what I'm finding is there's a lot of them that you cannot find on the market right now. I think that's why people are starting to use Olo markers so much more, is because they seem to be more readily available in all the colors. I have not purchased any Olo markers. I have heard mixed reviews on them. Some people say they're amazing and great. Some people say they're horrible. A friend of mine has basically given up using them because she says they blob out ink, which can happen with Copics, but it almost never happens. So I don't know. You guys, if you have Olo markers, let me know what you think. I have gotten interested in working with some of the Altenew markers. They're a little bit less expensive, so we'll see. Anyway, that's enough about coloring as far as markers are concerned. I did try to write them out for you guys so that you would have all of the colors. And yeah, I had fun coloring each of these and then adding all the little elements to make it cute. I don't know about you, but I've shared this before. I have a hard time giving cards like this away. It lights up, it's hand colored. What I have learned is that most people in my circle, I do screw up the penguin here too, by the way. I color him underneath in a spot right here. I'm about to do it right there. Boom. Yep. Whoops. I was not supposed to color him right there. Anyway. Like I've given cards to people and they're like, oh, this is so beautiful, blah, blah, blah. And then one person I gave a card to was like, is this printed? And I'm like, no, I colored it. And they were like, you colored it? And I was like, yes, I colored it with markers. So then I think, oh man, all the people I've given cards to that maybe don't even have any idea all the work that went into it. I don't know. I need to get over it. I need to realize that giving the card and the process of creating the card is really what I'm here for. And that ultimately it doesn't really matter if people know how much work went into it, does it? Anyway, now you can see by adding my marshmallows and adding my whipped cream, all is right with the world. It totally hides the part that is supposed to be like tucked behind. It's not perfect, but it'll do, right? That's what we care about. So here for this little peppermint, I am just going to glue it onto the back of the marshmallows, and then I'm just going to chop off the end of it. So I'm not having to worry about like trying to cut a slit for this to go into the top of the Santa mug. There's no sense in that. So I just chopped it off and going to use my reverse tweezers here and glue it down with my precision glue press. And then this little piece will be finished. So, I don't know about you guys, but I had a really good Thanksgiving. We had so much fun. And let's see, when you're seeing this video, oh yeah, we're just right now. By the time you're seeing this video, I will have just finished decorating for Christmas. We just got a late start. If you're new around here, sometimes I share things that are going on in my life, little stories and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to get into here for a few minutes. So we completely painted the dining room, the living room, all the baseboards, all the trim in both of those rooms. Plus my husband installed new cabinets in my dining room for a huge facelift. He replaced one of our fans in the living room. He replaced all of our light fixtures that were like old 1973 light fixtures for some that are like flush mount to the ceiling that looks so nice. He replaced those actually in the pantry, kitchen, dining room, living room. He replaced all of our plugs in both of those rooms. Here, back to the card, I'm just adding a shadow underneath this mug set so that it looks like the mugs are sitting on something. Also, originally I was going to stamp my sentiment directly onto this layer underneath the mugs, but then I realized it was going to interact with where I would need the person to push. So you'll see how I bring all that together for where they push to turn the nose on for Rudolph. So Anyway, new plugs, new light switches, all of that. It had none of those things had been changed in our house since 1973 in those two rooms. And I cannot tell you the upgrade it gave our home. Like, all of those things are time consuming. All of those things are simple and fairly inexpensive, except for the cabinetry. And what an upgrade. I mean, the plugs were dirty and kind of dingy and old. The light switches were dingy and old. We live in an older home. Y'all, we live in California. It is not cheap here. So I don't have like a fancy new house. I have a house that is full of character and love, and it was built in 1973. So it's got some of those details still left in it, which I found over the years to appreciate and like, because I do feel like it's kind of nice living in a house with some character versus just the brand new cookie cutter type homes. Not that there's anything wrong with those types of homes if you live in one. I'm just saying, I think when you're young, you think, oh, I want this fun, beautiful, big, this, that, the other. And then the older I get, the more I just appreciate simplicity. I like that our home is smaller. It keeps me from filling the house up with stuff that we don't need and that we can't take with us anyway. And there's just a coziness about it. The only exception to this house size would be hosting. When we host primarily outdoors because of the size of the house. It's just hard to fit very many people in my house. So we pretty much only host outside. And that works for us. We've really set up a beautiful outdoor area for hosting. Our back porch has fans, and my husband built a beautiful table, and he built me a gorgeous buffet area where I can set food, and it's up nice and high so we don't have to worry about dogs grabbing it. My husband really is the jack of all trades. Like, he knows how to do everything. So for those of you who are new around here, my husband's a power lineman. So he's the guy that goes out and climbs the power poles and fixes electricity, right? He has no fear. He's a very brave man. And I guess we're having a little appreciation moment here for my old man. He is just a good guy. He tries to make me happy. He does everything. And he does make me happy. But I mean, what I meant by that is he always tries to do things to make me happy. Like, whatever it is. When I was like, we need to paint the house, we were painting, and I asked him, I said, would you ever paint this house if you weren't married? And he was like, no. I'm pretty sure, listen, y'all, he was something when I met him. So I'm pretty sure that's how he would still be living. So anyway, hopefully he feels happy that I want to make our home better and improved with little things like that. I sure am grateful for all of his love and efforts in working hard for us and making our house a home. All right, here is the finished light up card. Super simple. I talked all the way through the process. Sorry about that. The light up mechanism stuff on the back is incredibly easy. You just tape it in place and then you put foam tape around it, and that's it. It is so easy. That foam tape is double-sided, ultra thick foam tape, and it is repositionable for up to 24 hours. And that is something that I think is a highlight of that product. It is Pear Blossom Press, their invention, I guess you could say. So if you love that, you can always grab some of that. I will link to all the supplies below the video, and I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.